thing I also wanted to mention to you guys was, if you have the funds and the resources available, the best thing to do is exactly what I'm doing here today, and that's a hands-on inspection. There's no greater eye than your own. You're going to be owning this vehicle, you're going to be purchasing this vehicle, you work very hard for your money, and you want to make sure that whatever you're purchasing is what it looks like and is what it says it is on the internet. A lot of the companies nowadays are internet based, and they take a few photos and put the car for sale, and when you get it, you didn't notice a few things. So I am actually going to be meeting with a few inspectors to look at a few different vehicles, along with myself doing my own inspection on the vehicle as well. So always highly recommend that if you're going to go look at a vehicle or purchase any type of vehicle, $300 or $300,000, make sure you have it inspected.
Well, here it is.
Oh, you got a few cars, huh?
Oh yeah.
Wow, check this baby out.
Busy. Shop's full. And I got more in there. I got a couple of those, man. The only one with a red light. I was gonna take it to my cat.
All right, guys, I'm here with Ken, and we got some interesting facts about this air cleaner cover. Show me those pieces that you were showing me before.
You see the little two indentions for the washer nut. Those were only used on the very first maybe 500 or 600 cars. This was a sand cast when Shelby started, then they changed it over. I don't believe these even have a part number on them yet. And then afterwards they did put a part number on them. Very cool piece, very original to the car. Also, the other thing that's cool about the aluminum, if you were to look where the master cylinder on the valve cover, it was so close that it actually touched. Shelby actually ground down some of that to make that work. We're talking 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch gap. That's it. But those valve covers are correct. But we can look at the 4 bolts on the exhaust manifold. There's 4. You'll see upper, lower, then right and left, and that denotes as a it's a C7 head.
We're gonna be drilling.
Good. Stop.
I don't think I went through it.
No, don't need to.
Okay.
It'll come up. Hold on, hold on, hold on. That's all we need. Now, now we get the lacquer thinner again. Now we'll just do that.
So what's your guess, Ken?
I don't know. It's 2 numbers, but that well, I've seen them like this, so I'm not. Remember, these are assembly line workers that were building these cars.
In California.
Yeah. Starting to go through. Can you see?
Oh yeah, I could see.
Okay.
I could see. so cool. And that was a fun trip, guys. Thank you for coming with me on that journey. We met Ken, who was a Shelby expert, and now we brought the car back over to the East Coast, where its temporary housing would be here with No Reserve Classics. And I wanted to go over a few things with you guys while I have the car here on the turntable before we take it out. A few bad things about the car is it's an original car, Survivor quality car. Now, what that means is that as you go through the paint, you're gonna notice that this car was repainted at one point in time. The paint job is not up to par, and remember, Shelbys have a lot of fiberglass components. If you look at the hood and you look at the trunk, you're gonna notice some cracking, you're gonna notice some chipping, and that's throughout the vehicle. For us here at No Reserve Classics, we wanna represent the car the best that we can. If we were to own the car ourselves for our personal collection, how we would want the car to turn out. You're gonna drive this car. We want all of our vehicles to be driven. We're gonna keep and put a brand new style set of BF Goodrich radial TA tires on there so you're able to drive it. And we're gonna make it appear as it did back in 1967 with shaving the walls down and applying the film to the wheels to make it look like it did as if it came off of the floor back in 1967 in a way. And you're seeing what works and what is gonna fit into this car. And that's what we have here today. We have the Ford 428 FE big block setup, and everything's correct down to the mileage of the car. Everything puts itself and interlays with the mileage of the car. The mileage of the car is 38,000 miles, original. Everything works. All the lights, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but all the lights are working. All the dash components fully work. We went through the entire car. You'll see the optional oil pressure gauges, the amp gauges, 4-speed transmission, very nice dash carpet, the rare fold down seat in the back. So, all right, this is so amazing. I totally forgot how this car felt. I mean, it definitely feels like you're taking a step back in time. And I'll tell you what, it's a great feeling. Feels really nice. But there are some things that we got to correct and go through. First thing is the easy things, checking all of our blinkers, seeing if all those gauges are working. We went through everything down to the horn, which is amazing that everything still works, going through everything. The only thing that I did notice is over here, didn't see the heater turn on, so we'll put that on our inspection list. As well as I'm hearing a few little creaks and crackles through the car. Other than that, it's performing really well. You can definitely hear when that second carb fully opens up, and you know, you downshift from fourth down to third.
Everything's good.
All right, so we got this Shelby here, right behind you. First off, explain a little bit what you do for us here at No Reserve Classics.
Yeah, no problem. Well, basically, whatever you guys ask for, and that mostly consists of, you know, mechanical and cosmetic work to the cars. And with that too, we usually go through and try to verify a lot of the cars too, with the engineering numbers, date stamps, VIN stamps, everything that we could do to really provide a lot more history and originality with the cars.
Yeah.
BJBK carbs.
BJBK.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
The front one is BJ and the back one's BK. They end. Those are the part of the engineering numbers on it.
Oh, okay. All right, so we found out some really cool things. One, obviously, we knew about the inboard lights, right?
Yep.
And one thing on the side, if you want to show everybody, what is it called, the air vent, or?
Yeah, basically these scoops on the side, on these early cars here, these are actually working air scoops. So inside there, you'll see the indentation, but that's actually a pass-through vent, which comes out in front of this rear tire and passes air through there, and supposed to obviously help with some brake cooling, but more functionality. You know, if it was a disc brake car, but looks wise, you know, it's pretty cool to see that on the early car.
Yeah, I got my light in there now. We're able to see what you're talking about. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I never even noticed that.
Yep.
And you said the easy giveaway is this notch right here. Is this what?
Yeah, that plate right there, you'll know, because obviously you could get aftermarket side scoops, but that's a pretty good giveaway of obviously an original side scoop with that type of mounting system here.
And as you go through the car, I mean, obviously, you know, if you see anything that is pretty cool that you want to bring to our attention, definitely let us know, man.
Yep.
So we have the original numbering here, the Shelby number. We had to drill that out just to verify when we picked this car up in Michigan. So I did drill that out, and you could see it from the inside fender well as well.
Yep, absolutely. And if you notice here, besides this VIN stamp right here, there's a second one right on the edge of this fender. They're usually double stamped right there, and you'll see that second matching original Ford VIN stamp on there.
So they have one stamp that's from Shelby, one stamp that's from Ford.
Correct. The tag on top would be designated by Shelby, and then when it came from Ford factory would be the other one on that inner fender there.
Sweet. I love these cool cars, man. The history on them is just amazing. I really like the background story of where the cars came from, you know, what they've been through, whether it was paint or body or aftermarket parts or even just original, you know. It's the story is really what sells the car, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And this being a 67 was last year that Shelby actually made these coming from their shop, you know, and first year the big block in here, so very desirable car.
Sweet, man. So if you find anything else, you just let me know.
Will do.
All right, bud.
Thanks.
So Austin, what are you doing?
Right now I am cleaning the interior parts that we pulled out of the GT500 67. Trying to make it look as clean as possible. I'm using safe products to try and make sure that we get these seats back to their original glory.
So, I think we've mentioned this before. This is an original trunk mat. It's got like a felt material. It's not like rubber, but it's actual like original. And the reason why we're keeping all these parts and restoring them is they all have stampings, Ford original stampings on every single piece, from the seats down to the door panels, down to the trimmings, down to every little nook and cranny. We're keeping this car as original as possible. We're keeping it back. We're bringing it back to its, you know, former glory. Obviously, when the car's all done, it'll be 10 times better looking. But right now, we have him just restoring, cleaning up, doing a little bit of touch-ups, because these parts today are going to be going back into the car, and hopefully soon we'll get the car back in one piece.
Probably came over and tapped over it.
Right.
Get some.
We'll grind it all down, we'll address it.
Alright.
This looks factory though.
Yeah, that looks factory. It's funny how that side's half neat and this side looks like they just.
But you know what? They never put seam sealer on nicely in the trunks of these cars. I always noticed that. We had an original 70 with like, I don't know, whatever, 9,000 original miles, so we knew the car was all original from the original owner, and I was surprised at the quality of like the seam sealer and the way they put shit on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Dave, just grind this all down and we'll see what's underneath there and we'll address it. But I want the trunk to look good.
Alright. And this is the left front bumper bracket. Somebody cut it and welded it back together.
Why?
I don't know. It was, looks like it might have been egged out a little bit too, so I guess they were just trying to get it to fit better. That I don't know.
Okay.
And I thought about the bottom of the quarter panels.
Yeah.
Couldn't really find any good pictures. I was looking online.
Yeah.
What I think I'm gonna do is put a coat of filler over it, where, you know, all that tack welds are at.
surprising. There's really no. We don't even see We don't even see signs of it being repaired at one point, right?
No, no.
And this wasn't like a West Coast car. This car came out of Chicago, Illinois. So same weather that we have.
Well, I mean, being a Shelby, they probably didn't
You
drive
think
it
so?
all that much.
Well, if you saw the restoration pictures, I don't know how well they took care of it.
But you said it's a low mileage car, so.
Yeah, 36,000.
Yeah.
Proven 36,000 miles. But I mean, I don't know if a lot of these had high miles, right? Because people bought them to race them, so it was a quarter mile at a time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that people bought them as daily drivers. I think people actually went and spent $4,500 to take it to the track
And
beat
on
the
it.
shit out of it.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know how much that actually means. But.
Okay, Dave, so what do we have here? Why is the car underneath the covers?
The car's painted, so after that I masked up the car to protect it from the overspray, from trying to replicate the overspray from the assembly line on the floorboards and inside the rear fender wells.
All right, yeah, that's something pretty cool that not many people really understand. It's an extra step of what we can go to above and beyond here, but
Just trying to make it as close to factory as we possibly can.
exactly. So Joe, what are you doing right now? Why are you about to go underneath the car?
I'm gonna check to make sure Mr. Sanos painted the underside the way a factory 67 Shelby GT500 would look as soon as you pulled it out of the dealership. So that's the idea with this car. We're taking all of the original components off the car, restoring all the original components. Mr. Sanos over here at Sanos Auto Restoration is the one doing the paint, body, disassembling, reassembling the car. And during that time, we're also going to be filming everything so we could document the whole restoration and just bring this car back to life, like the day it looked in 1967.
What is this?
This is the original chrome bumper that we had professionally polished and cleaned up. Just like the rest of the parts on this car, we believe that most of the parts on this car was completely original, and instead of changing them to cheap Chinese parts, we decided to take them and get them fully restored while the car was in pieces and getting painted.
All right, guys, so we are here, as you can see, full project done. Green Shelby GT500, and Mr. Sanos walked in. This car looks immaculate, better than it did before, but you once again have shown your craft in what you do. Now, can you tell us a little bit about what you did exactly from start to finish? I know you more of a paint and body guy, but were there any areas that were a little bit more needing more work in sense of this car?
Not necessarily. This car was a pretty clean car to start with. Disassembled the whole car, took the interior out so that could all get freshened up, stripped it to bare metal, epoxy primed it, did the necessary body work, fill primed it, blocked it, got it nice and straight, painted it in pieces, reassembled it, made the necessary overspray marks as we discussed before, and reinstalled the interior, had the glass reset, wet sand and buffed it. It's finally done.
Yep. After a couple months, this car is finally done. You did mention that you had to go over it a couple times, but the car does look very, very, very nice.